Okay. When I say grandpa, what is the first thought that enters your mind?
Your dad. Your dad, because now he's a grandpa.
Okay, how about when I say Herb?
Okay, that's my dad. Okay, how about your dad?
What about my dad?
He's my dad.
So you said your dad. What about your dad? Okay, your
No,
dad.
you said grandpa.
Okay, how about your dad?
What about my dad?
What's the first thing that pops in your mind whenever I say your dad?
Garage sales. That's what I think now. That's not what I used to think.
What did you used to think?
My dad, he's the one that was going to take the belt and chase me up the steps with it. That's how I grew up.
That's the kind of answers I want to get. The garage sales and the belt.
That's what I
Garage sales now. That's what I think of.
Were you a daddy's girl when you were young?
Nope. My dad worked all the time. It's different back then. My dad used to get up at 4:30 in the morning and go to work all day and come in at 8:15. I even remember the times. And I didn't see him because he also worked on weekends.
What did he do?
He was a machinist, tool and die maker. And he had to work time and a half because my mom stayed home with us.
What was it like to grow up in a house where your dad was the head of the household?
Do you know which household I grew up in? My mom was the boss, not my dad, because my dad worked all the time.
I was hoping you were going to tell me something else. I think when we
No.
talked about this before, you went, huh?
I said, do you know where I grew up? Do you know my family? My mom's the boss. My dad was just the belt carrier.
And that's the kind of stuff I'm going to put in the video.
No, people will think he abused me, and he didn't abuse me. He just chased me. It was the big threat whenever he snapped that belt together.
Were you treated any different from John and Art? As in, you were the girl, they were the guys, you were the oldest, they were the youngest.
You know, it's kind of funny, actually. I have to look at the microphone and sit up, huh? I spent a lot of time at Graham's house. And so, other than having to babysit when I got to be a teenager, I honestly didn't really know I had brothers. I grew up down there. She lived about 20 minutes away, which was a really long trip, by the way, 20 minutes. I had to find a bathroom in between, but okay, that's neither here nor there.
So that's where Beth gets it.
Yes, pea bladder, PEA. So no, I don't know if I was treated any differently. I guess I was. I was the good one.
You're still the good one. Yeah, me and Chris talked about that question too. How did your dad react when you began dating?
I don't remember. I don't remember anything extraordinary about his reactions. He followed me on dates. Is that what you mean? Well, that's not when I started dating.
Okay, how about when you were dating?
When I was dating, he would follow me to the movies and sit a few rows behind me, and he always thought I didn't know.
Oh, so he was trying to be secretive.
Yeah. And then I'd get questioned whenever I came back home as to what I saw or what I did. He even followed me to the drive-in. Parked a few rows behind.
Did he allow you to go out without first meeting the boy, or did he let you do your own thing?
I have Halfheimers, so Alzheimer's, only half. I don't remember if he had to meet anybody. I don't think so. I think I kind of did my own thing. But I always had to be picked up at the house. But they weren't allowed to honk their horn, so I guess they kind of must have met whoever I was dating, but it wasn't a big deal kind of meet, sit down and talk to.
Did he ever bring his shotgun out? Because he's told me that he had them.
He had tons of shotguns, and they didn't have locks on them either. We just knew that if we went near them, we were going to die. We just didn't think about how we were going to die. No, he never brought a shotgun out.
You didn't sit down on the couch while the boy was there waiting for you?
No.
He was sitting there cleaning the gun?
I always answered the door. I never let my parents just open the door and meet them. I wasn't going to be late. I was waiting.
How did your dad react when you first started dating Bob?
Just like everybody else. Like he reacted with everybody else, which wasn't anything until I told him we were getting married. Well, I didn't tell him, your dad told him, but...
Okay. How long had you been dating Dad before you brought him over to the house and actually sat down and he met your dad?
I don't remember. He came over the first time and picked me up, and I guess he met them then.
Was Dad like Matthew?
My dad's like... Matthew's like my dad.
Oh, Matthew's like your dad. I was talking about was Dad, our dad, like Matthew is, where he wants to be all polite and be friends with the parents.
Was your dad? Oh, I thought you meant my dad. Your dad was nice. I mean, no, he didn't try to be friends with anybody. He was just nice. Different times. The kids never hung out with the parents.
Was your dad happy that you married Bob?
No. He wasn't. He wasn't upset because it was Bob. He was upset because I was 18. And understandably, I didn't understand it then, but now if one of you had gotten married at 18, I would have put you in a convent or a monastery. So I understand why he was upset, but...
So what was his reaction? He said Dad went over and told him.
No, he sent them a letter. You didn't know that?
No.
Yes, he sent them a letter and told them he was going to marry me whether they liked it or not.
Oh, I thought you meant he politely told them.
No, he sent them a letter and told them. Which you have to understand, the way I grew up, when they said how high to jump, when they said to jump, I asked how high. I didn't argue with them, and I didn't do any of that stuff because I just knew that I couldn't. I didn't have an opinion, and anyway, so yes, your dad wrote them a letter and he told them, so I was getting married no matter what because they were going to throw me out. They were a little stressed.
So after that, and they threw you out.
They didn't throw me out, but they would have. Well, I felt like they would have, because he sent them that letter that said he was going to do this, and that was it. Because you didn't do that to my parents.
So wasn't there a point in time where you didn't talk to your parents for a while? Or they completely just...
Well, my mother was upset with me because I was pregnant. Okay, you might not want to put this in the video. Because I think she still has a lot of people fooled that I wasn't really pregnant, and you're getting this, so do not put that in there because there's going to be all her friends there. Okay. No, I think she still has them fooled. You know, that Chris is a year younger than he is. Yes, there was but I talked to my dad. I just didn't talk to my mother, but my mother didn't know I talked to my dad. Don't put that in there. I don't think she knows that yet.
Oh, so Grandpa knew, but she didn't at first?
No, neither one of them knew at first. Oh. Neither one of them knew until I was about March, April, May, June, July, August, about 6 months pregnant.
And when was the wedding?
June.
Which was how many months?
I was about 3 months, 2.5 months.
Okay. So they didn't know you were pregnant at the wedding?
No.
Oh.
No, that wedding was already planned and invitations had already gone out and I wasn't changing them. So they did not know until after that. And then, of course, my mother was very upset because I embarrassed her in front of everybody.
Ah.
So she didn't talk to me until about a week before Chris was born.
Oh. Interesting. Did you and your dad ever get into any big arguments?
Never. Never. Ever. I really thought about that question. Nope.
Did you see my other question here?
No.
The one that says, did you treat them, if you did get into any argument,
Nope.
did you treat them like you did with Dad? Yes, you're right, whatever, you're right.
No, if they told me what my opinion was, I said, okay.
And that's going in the video. I told you I was looking for stuff like that. If they told me what my opinion was, I said, okay.
That's how I was brought up. Really.
Are there any lingering arguments, disagreements, anything like that? I know you said you never have any major arguments.
Except for when he killed my cat, you mean?
Well, that's a very nice disagreements?
No.
No. Was it difficult for you to move so far away for college, or was it a relief to get away from the house?
Neither. Never thought about it. My first year I went close. I was only about 45 minutes away. With Slippery Rock. So my first year was close. And I was home every weekend. But as far as whether I was going to be far away and close up, that had nothing to do with where I went to school. Just the cost of the school was what was the deciding factor.
Okay, well, when you finally did move away, though...
To Penn State, whenever I got married?
Yeah.
No, then I was getting married and I was all excited about being married. It wasn't a relief to leave home. It was just getting married and starting my own life.
Okay. Even though you had been away from home for college, was it extremely difficult for you to leave your dad and your mom when you had to move to Greenville, since it was so much further away?
It was hard, and I talked to them on the phone a lot. And I still talk to them on the phone a lot. But it was something that we had to do because companies transferred at that time, and it was a town we had to get away from if Dad was going to make a success. So it was, although it was hard, it was not a deciding factor. His job was the deciding factor.
Did you, because I know some families are like this, did you think about Grandpa when you decided to move away? Was it one of those things where it kind of went into your mind and you sat there and you thought, well, what about my dad? What about my mom? Or is it just, you say it's not an issue because, he had to move. But was it ever one of those, did it ever enter your mind of, so what's he going to think? Or should I move because I moved so far away from him? Or you never related to him that way?
I never related to him that way. Again, it was different back then. He was the provider for the family, and he still had a job, and he still had young kids at home, and I was married, and that's how it was done back then. I was supposed to grow up and get married and have kids and go where my husband went. That's the way it was supposed to be. So no, that wasn't a consideration. That's much different now than it was then. Now I worry about them being up there. I'd like to get them down here.
Yeah.
I'd like to put handcuffs on him and blindfold him and...
Well, the hospitals up there don't do the same thing that they do down here.
What, blindfold them and handcuff them and put them in the
the
car?
hospitals down here don't provide the same services that they do up there, so...
Yes, so Grandpa says. We don't have any doctors here.
Exactly.
Yes. Because we live in shacks in the swamps.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
When you lived down here, would you get excited when you find out that they would be visiting?
Yes, I did. And not only that, but my house got really clean. Because the first time my dad ever came to visit me, and I know that he probably forgot this, the first time that he came to Penn State and visited us, he came in the house and came into the apartment, and the first thing he said was, he looked at the top of my refrigerator and said, it's dusty up here.
Yeah, I was doing the finger.
Oh, no, that's my mother. My mother does the white glove treatment. But now she can't see, so she can't do it anymore. But no, that was the first thing my dad said. So I've learned to prepare myself that the first thing he is going to say, no matter what, is going to be something like that. The first thing he said when we moved to Forester Woods into this really nice house is, He walked in the front door and he looked up in the foyer, and there's a 2-story foyer, and he said, "You're going to have a hard time painting that." That was the first thing he said. I don't remember what he said when he walked in this house. I got used to it by then. It's just what he did. Just what he does. It's funny.
That's funny. Is there anything that you said or did in the past that you wish you could take back now?
Nope.
Okay.
I know you want me to come up with all these stories, but no, I've not. Yes, I love my parents. I was always respectful of them. They always had good opinions. I didn't get to be a smart aleck until I married your dad. See, he brought me up further along, and then I got to be a smart ass. Don't put that in there. Because I wasn't allowed to swear whenever I was young. But my mother told me that when she first got married, the doctor told her to swear, so she did. So I figured when I got married, I could swear too.
There were a lot of memories of Grandma's house when we were kids. When she sold it and everything in it, that was very upsetting because we did not have basically the last look at the place before it was gone and all the things in it.
Actually, that surprised me, but okay.
What?
That you said that in there.
Oh, I was talking to Chris about that. What do I remember? I remember in the bathroom, there was the McDonald's thing that measured us every time we went down. There was that weird mask in the garage. There was the Pillsbury Doughboy, which I actually have now. And I don't know, just whipped cream. There was always whipped cream in the freezer.
I don't remember that.
That partial table she had against the wall that
Yeah.
was folded up on.
I can't believe you remember that stuff.
And I remember on the divider between the kitchen and the living room, there was the multiple circled picture frame that, it's stuff like that.
And I have that now, but
Oh, you do?
yeah.
But it was just stuff like that. Anyway, now that it's getting closer to the point where,
Where they moved down here?
hopefully, yeah.
Okay.
Are you going to be sad to see that house go? Because you grew up in that house.
They've changed that house so much since I grew up in it that it's a completely different house now. It used to be that their bedroom was downstairs, where it's going to be whenever you guys go up there and move it back. And my bedroom used to be where their dining room was. And I remember that. But all of that's changed. So do I fondly remember things in that house? No, now the house is it flows wrong. It disturbs me. And now you can't even get in the basement anymore. It used to be a rec room.
Yeah.
Now it's just a storage room.
Well, Chris told me the story of he was over there, and he said that they told him to go down in the basement and play.
Mm-hmm.
He said it was so messy down there that he couldn't do anything, so he cleaned it.
Mm-hmm.
And they got mad.
No, my dad probably got mad.
Well, yeah, he said Grandpa got mad.
Yeah.
And basically made him clean it back up the way it was because he couldn't find anything.
Yeah, that's probably true. It's become a storage room. So anyway, the house has changed so much from when I was growing up that it isn't the same house anymore.
Okay, well, it'd be difficult to say goodbye to the house, even though it's not the same house, but
Nope.
you just want it gone.
Yep. I want them down here.
I asked Chris the question of, is there one thing that you want to see at that house before it's gone and you don't need to go back? He goes, yes. I want to see the upstairs bathroom functional before you go to that house. He said as long as he can remember, it's been a storage room with a toilet in the center.
Yes, and when I was growing up, I actually could use that bathroom. But it died soon after I left and got married. And now that their bedroom's been up there, that bathroom's not worked the whole time. Now my mother says that actually somebody's coming in before we get up there to fix the bathroom, in case he decides he wants to sell it. Yeah, we're not holding our breath.
Yeah, because then they'd have to pay for that.
Well, actually what happened is Grandma fell through the floor about 3 weeks ago.
What floor?
In the bathroom, upstairs. She was putting something away because it's the storage room now, and she tramped.
In that one section where there's
Yep.
no floor?
Yeah, that would be it. she lost her balance and it cracked the floor. And so I think that's the reason he's fixing it. Finally, after 35 years. Yeah.
Okay.
I love my parents.
Okay, do you think...
You told me I had to phrase it in a whole sentence.
Do you think that your dad is proud of you? No
Yes,
sense
I think that my dad is proud of me.
Why?
Your dream for your children is to watch them be successful as they get older and be happy. And that doesn't always mean you make a lot of money. It just means you're happy in general. Yes, I'm happy, and my dad knows I'm happy. And I've stayed in touch with them. So, yes, but I think he's proud of me. I hope he's proud of me. He's never said those words. My mother's told me she's proud of me. My dad doesn't say things like that. He just says he loves me.
Do you think your dad is proud of your family?
Yes.
Not necessarily what I'm doing and what Chris is doing, but as a whole, the way we've turned out, is he proud of your family?
My dad thinks that we're a functional family. You can't put that in there.
Let's see if John's going to be okay.
John is going to be there, and I was going to elaborate on it. Yes, my dad is proud of my family. And when I get on the phone with him, he does ask what each of you are doing, including you and Peter, and even asks about Eve. And yes, I think he's proud of our family. And he's most proud, I think, of the fact that you like each other.
Complete sentence, please.
Okay.
Do you really think that your dad shot your cat?
Oh, I know, and I saw that. Of course he didn't. I don't think. No, I don't think that my dad shot my cat. And I hope that makes him feel better that I said that. But I'm always going to harass him about it.
But seriously, do you think he shot your cat?
No, I don't think he shot my cat. I think that my cat honestly probably got run over somewhere. I think my dad knows, and I think it was probably a mess, and he didn't want to tell me. I think. But I don't think he really shot my cat. But it's just been recently I've thought he didn't really shoot my cat. For a long time I did think he shot my cat. Because he hated that cat. And in all honesty, the cat really smelled. He did. He was not a neuter. What are you laughing about? That cat really did stink. He was not a neuter cat. And they have the smell about them, but you know, that didn't bother me, and I imagine that it probably really bothered them because I kind of noticed he smelled, but that was okay. He still slept with me. He probably had fleas and ticks and everything else. But I survived. But I understand why my dad hated the cat. He doesn't like cats anyway. But I don't think he shot my cat. I don't think. Happy birthday, Dad. I love you. I wish you'd moved to South Carolina. Because we all love you. We want you here. And Brandon said that's it.
Okay, good. That's it. Thanks.
Okay.